You just woke up 20,000 years ago. You're naked. You're in Europe. The temperature is around minus 15 Celsius. You don't have any tools, and no fire, no shelter, and no idea where the nearest group of people is. You have about 3 hours before hypothermia starts making decisions for you. After that, your brain stops working properly. You'll feel warm. You might start undressing. This is a real medical symptom. It's called paradoxical undressing, and it's your body's final mistake. So here's the question that no one really answers. It's not, could a human survive the Ice Age? We know they could, but could you? Specifically, with the body and brain you have right now, 7 days. That's the minimum time it takes to go from naked and helpless to actually surviving. Let's get to the bottom of it. Day 1. The first 3 hours are the only ones that matter. Your chance of survival right now is about 0. The only thing that changes that number is finding shelter before your body temperature drops. Fortunately, people 20,000 years ago already solved this problem. Badly, but effectively. In Dolní Věstonice in the Czech Republic, archaeologists found shelters made from mammoth bones and hides, curved ribs stacked together, covered with hides, with the ground compacted at the base. You don't have that, so you use what you have right now. The fastest windbreak a human can build without tools takes about 20 minutes. Rest the branches against a natural rock ledge, stack leaves, grass, bark, anything dry on top. You're not building a house. You're building a body-sized pocket of air that's slightly less cold. That's enough for the next 4 hours. Survival rate, 15%, above 0. Progress. Now the fire. This is where modern people catastrophically underestimate the difficulty. It takes most untrained adults anywhere from 30 minutes to never to start a fire by friction. The technique that worked 20,000 years ago was percussion, not friction. You strike flint against pyrite. The spark falls on dry tinder. You blow gently. You repeat it all your life. The problem is you have to find flint first. Flint is found in chalk and limestone areas. It has a glassy appearance and sharp edges. 20,000 years ago, Upper Paleolithic people knew every source of flint within a 50-kilometer radius of their camps. You don't know, so you pick up every interesting stone and check it out. It takes hours. It is okay. Your enemy is the cold, not time. When you find the right stones, the sparks will be immediate and obvious. The tinder must be completely dry. Grass, bark chips, dry moss, cattail fluff. Even during the Ice Age, dry material existed inside dead logs, under rock shelters, and in animal burrows. You're starting a fire. It takes 3 hours and 12 failed attempts. 12 failures don't count. 1 piece of luck counts. Chance of survival, 40%. You have solved 2 immediate conditions of death. Day 2, the problem of hunger. You have not eaten since you arrived here. Your body burned approximately 3,000 calories yesterday just to maintain your body temperature. You need a minimum of about 2,500 calories per day in these conditions. The good news is that the glacial landscape had more large prey per square kilometer than modern Europe. The bad news is you can't kill any of them yet without a tool, and you don't have one. Day 2 is the day of gathering. In late Pleistocene Europe, non-hunting edible options include pine nuts, frozen berries on branches, inner bark of birch and pine, cattail roots under the snow, and frozen marrow from prey killed by predators. The latter is important. Carcasses from wolf and cave lion kills provided humans with a significant amount of calories. You wait for the predators to finish, then you move quickly. Researchers who have studied Upper Paleolithic sites have found significant evidence that humans were scavenging alongside, and sometimes in direct competition with large predators. A modern person doing this for the first time will feel as much horror as it sounds. You get about 800 calories from scavenging, not enough, but you're alive. Chance of survival, 50%. You've crossed the halfway mark, malnourished, but functional. Day 3. Make a weapon. This is where modern humans have a real advantage. Your visual cortex, your fine motor skills, and flint pressing, shaping the stone with blows at a precise angle, is a skill. But the basic version can be learned in a day. Not pretty, not efficient, but sharp enough to cut the hide and process the animal. A sharp edge is all you need right now. Hit the flint with a hard round stone called a chisel at an angle of about 30 degrees to the edge. The flakes fly. The remaining edge is sharp enough to shave with. Upper Paleolithic people could produce dozens of blades from a single flint nodule. Your first attempt produces 1 usable edge. Congratulations, you've just mastered your trade. Now make a spear. The simplest version, a long straight branch, one end sharpened by your new stone tool. Temper the tip by holding it over a fire for 30 seconds, constantly turning it. This is not a spear of shinnigan, it's a sharp stick, but a sharp stick is enough to change everything. Chance of survival, 62%. Now you have tools, fire, and minimal shelter. Day 4, the first real hunt, and it won't go the way you expect. The available prey 20,000 years ago in Europe included reindeer, wild horses, ibex, aurochs, and woolly rhinoceroses. You're aiming for the reindeer, not because you like reindeer, because the reindeer is the only animal on that list that researchers believe a lone, inexperienced human had any real chance against. The reindeer is large, about 100 kilograms, but it is not aggressive unless provoked. It has predictable routes that it follows every day. Strategy: watch for hours. Find the route. Stand on the leeward side. Wait at a natural bottleneck, a river crossing, a passage between rocks. Throw your spear at a distance of no more than 8 to 10 meters. You miss. Of course you miss. Human hunters in every documented study miss on their first few attempts. The deer runs away. You follow the tracks. On your 4th attempt in 2 days, you wound one at the river crossing. You wait. This is exactly what Upper Paleolithic hunters did. They tracked a wounded animal until it weakened. After a few hours, the animal falls. Now you have about 50 kilograms of usable meat, fat, skin, and bone. If you keep the fire going, this meat will last for 4 to 5 days at these temperatures. Your survival rate is 75%. You have just solved your food problem for almost a week. Day 5. You are exhausted. This is not an optional rest. This is biology. Your calorie deficit over 4 days, hunger, exposure to cold, and physical exertion have accumulated into a debt that your body demands to be paid. Researchers who studied Hadza hunters after major hunts found that mandatory rest periods of 1 to 2 days were the norm in all cultures. Rest is a survival strategy, not a sign of weakness. Day 5 is also a time to take inventory of what you have. The reindeer hide needs to be processed before it becomes tough and useless. Scrape the inside surface with a stone edge to remove the fat and membrane. Work while the hide is still fresh. This process takes 3 to 4 hours, and your hands will hurt. The result is a piece of flexible insulation that will keep you warmer than anything else available to you right now. Wrap it around your shoulders. You've just made your first Ice Age clothing. Your survival rate is 80%. You're warm, fed, and rested. Day 6. The problem you've been ignoring, you're alone. And that's the most dangerous thing about your situation. Not the cold, not the predators. Researchers who studied survival in the Upper Paleolithic concluded that the minimum viable group size for stable winter survival was 5 to 8 people. Below this number, you can't keep a fire going while hunting, keep watch while sleeping, or treat injuries. People 20,000 years ago understood this instinctively. Solitary existence was a temporary emergency, not a way of life. Day 6 is the day of movement. You're following the river. Rivers were the roads of the Ice Age. Groups camped near water sources. Animals used river valleys. You carry a fire in a piece of dry bark or compressed moss that smolders slowly. Ice Age people carried fire this way. Archaeological evidence shows the transportation of charcoal for dozens of kilometers. At some point, on the 6th day, you see smoke on the horizon. Smoke means fire. Fire means people. People mean everything changes. Approaching requires caution. Lonely strangers appearing out of nowhere were not always welcomed. You approach slowly. You make sounds before you are seen. You don't keep your spear raised. These are the same protocols that modern researchers have observed in first contact situations with hunter-gatherers documented in the 20th century. You're accepted, conditionally, because a person who has survived 6 days alone has proven that they are useful. The chance of survival, 91%. The hardest part is over. Day 7. The last thing you needed to survive that you couldn't provide for yourself. Knowledge transfer. Everything that kept you alive this week, you've been creating from scratch. The people around you have known this since childhood. They know which rivers don't freeze. They know which plants are poisonous in winter. They know where the Turov migrate. They know how to build a reliable fire in 90 seconds. It took you 3 hours and 12 failed attempts. They do it in 90 seconds because someone taught them in 4 years. This knowledge gap is the gap between 7 days of survival and life. The honest answer to the question of whether you could have survived 20,000 years ago is as follows. The first 3 hours, truly threatening. Most modern people would not have survived the first day without cold survival training. Days 2 through 4, perhaps poorly, with perseverance and luck. From the 7th day onward, it all depends on whether you find people. It wasn't exceptional individuals who survived the Ice Age. It was groups that had been solving the same problems for 10,000 years. Your modern brain will get you through the first week. Their accumulated knowledge is what makes a week a living. You would have survived for 7 days, probably, if you were lucky and fast and didn't panic. Getting out on the 7th day required something your brain alone couldn't provide. Community. The oldest survival technology humans have ever developed.